ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to game number 3 of N4C. Today is day number 3. We are in set number 3. There's a lot of threes here, and potentially Mista might be looking to 3-0 DeMusliM here, unless DeMuslim's able to make something happen.
And DeMusliM has gone for the Rus. So we were convinced that he would be going for the HRE, and Mista would be playing games around this because it was DeMuslim's home map. And now Mista has gone for the Holy Roman Empire, so he's going for the more meta approach.
Yeah, interesting. This is obviously a matchup that's really focused around the relics. So hopefully we've got some pretty decent relic spawns on this seed. Often in this game, it's going to be important to have, balanced relics. And you can actually see that on the south side of the map, Mista's got a relic in his base.
Oh, wow.
Talk about safety.
Yeah, that's free right there. But we look at the other relics, and there's 2 relics very close to DeMuslim's base. He's got one that's quite near, and then the other one is behind the cliff if he wants to deny access to that. But we'll go to the final relic here, and it is in the middle. Oh, I guess there's one to the left as well of Mista's base.
I'd be pretty happy either way with this spawn. I think this one's pretty fair. So I don't think Mista's going to be able to have too many complaints about this one, especially with that extra safe relic that he's going to have. But now we start to see Mista moving out around the map and chasing away that that scout from DeMusliM. You'd expect to potentially see it at least. Oh, has Mista not realized that he's going to be taking out these hunts?
Oh, he got that one. He's waiting.
But remember that he's run past this already.
Yeah.
And he hasn't actually taken out the deer yet.
Yeah. He's got 3 scouts though. Mista.
Really? He's got that many scouts? That's a lot of scouts. Second one coming back now. First one here. Where's the third one, Dave?
It said he had 3. Oh, he probably has a pre-light. That's it. Yeah, I got you baited.
It's all right. We've all been there. We've all been there. But a little bit of a dance happening down towards this deer patch. Now, keep in mind behind this, DeMuslim's going to be soaking up the other deer that are out on the map because he's going to be making plenty more scouts. He's got access to that hunting cabin in the first stage, which acts as his mill, but also acts as a pseudo-stable or a pseudo-town center with the ability to train scouts. So he's going to be getting those out nice and quick. We'll head over into his perspective and see what his bounty is at the moment. Because typically, as the Rus, you want to be looking at getting that bounty, maximizing it as much as possible. And you can see he's collecting up towards the north.
220.
Pretty decent bounty already.
2 minutes and 50 seconds into the game.
That's great.
With a contested patch. I mean, that's pretty good.
And probably going to secure this one up as well. That's going to cross him over to 250. He's a happy camper.
Yeah, Mista just kind of attacking scout v scout there.
Yeah, interesting strategy.
Pretty indecisive.
Yeah, unfortunately didn't work out for him. So I think Mista may have forgotten he was playing against the Rus, unfortunately. But now Golden Gate going to be going down in the base of DeMusliM. Nice early age up here. 312 was when it got dropped down, so pretty decent timing for him.
And what's the opening from him? Is he going to attempt to wall the area for Mista?
Yeah, so typically the play in this situation would be to go into a melee composition, so I'd be looking at going spears as well as knights or horsemen, and then look to try and get those walls in, because keep in mind the Rus walls, they are faster building,
more
cheaper,
HP.
and much more HP. Yeah, so you're looking at the 3,500, I think, if I remember correctly, up against the 1,500 of standard walls. So it is, it's definitely a good matchup for him. The question's going to be whether he's going to be able to get those walls up or not.
Yeah. Also, worth pointing out, DeMusliM, relatively the same heartbeat as the Mista through the last 2 games, and then we go into this one elevated.
Yeah, look at that heartbeat right now, sitting about 40 BPM higher.
I love having that here.
I really do
adds
too.
something else
Yeah,
to it.
I think we're going to have to make it compulsory. Everybody starts
so
wearing
good.
these.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It gives us talking points when nothing else is really happening.
Well,
if nothing
exactly
else,
it,
you know.
right?
And as a caster, I appreciate that, honestly.
But now we see the Archon Chapel going up for the Mista as well. We'll take a look at the positioning of it and see how well he's doing. So he's got the gold mine, he's got the berries, he's got his town center, and he's got a little bit of the wood line, but not a whole lot of it. Doesn't get too much of a juicy one, but it's not terrible. I give it a 6 out of 10.
Yep. And there's 4 scouts on the field there.
Here's the walling villager
coming forward. So the scouts are going to pave the way for this villager to come forward and wall that in. But unfortunately for him, if he walls in the cliff, there's a relic there already in Mista's base, unless he walls in a little bit further forward from that.
I think you just give him the one relic and you call it a day. and then you look to try and take the rest of it. The other alternative is if you can delay him from getting up, you can potentially give yourself a gate and look to try and steal it from him.
Yeah.
We did see that MarineLorD actually went up against, I can't remember who it was, but we saw him go up against a player that had 5 relics and yet still came out victorious. So don't count him out even if he doesn't get any of the relics.
Was it LucifoN?
Could have been.
I think it was LucifoN, yeah.
So, yeah, it's always the potential chance. But no upgrades coming through for these guys. We've got the age up for DeMusliM now coming through as well. We'll take a look over at his base, and you can see that scout going to be scouting out. And we do have the stable coming down, so it is going to be early nights for him. And plenty of food in the base of DeMusliM at this stage. He's going to be a happy camper, but no professional scouts coming through just yet, which is, I guess, a variation that we don't typically see.
Well, I think he wanted to prioritize getting that early night out first.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And we start to see the reaction now coming through for the Mista, so dropping down a barracks. I think that's going to be the first military production building, but already we start to see counterplays coming out from the Mista. He recognizes that he is getting walled in up towards his position, and subsequently down towards the south.
Did he make another preemptive wall?
Correct.
He's making a preemptive wall so that if DeMusliM, I think he needs to make this a little bit further actually, but if DeMusliM wants to wall this off, he's going to have to expend a lot of energy to wall all the way around this.
Correct. Yeah, that's the idea. And I agree with you. I think it's got to go out a little bit longer than what it is at the moment. But you can see that knight going to be coming down and looking to actually deny this before it even gets up. If he's careful or if he spots it, and he does spot it, DeMusliM going to be stopping this before it happens. Didn't get the charge off. And a little bit of confusion.
If he has this knight over here, honestly, he can just go forward past that wall even and make a wall across there. So,
yeah, one of the things you got to keep in mind, there were a couple of house rules for this tournament. One that was getting thrown up was whether chop throughing is enabled. So that's when the wall goes right up to the forest. And so that is allowed, where players are allowed to chop through those walls. So that's always a possibility that he can do that, even if he looks to wall on that forest.
Okay, so early night is on the gold. We look at the res bank here from the Mista, and he's got 840 food, and he's got 800 gold as well. So he's thinking about going up to age 3, wants to get those relics in as quickly as possible. We talked about the free one in his base. He's still got a knight to be concerned about roaming around there. And there's another one, if the wall-off doesn't come down on the left side, there's another one not too far away either.
Yeah, but take a look in the base of DeMusliM. He's actually dropped to second town center. Ooh. So this is a nice variation. And you can see the resources that he's got in the bank. He is very intent on going up to the castle age as well. So he's going to be up a little bit later than the Mista. And typically, he wants to prevent Mista from gathering any extra relics. Obviously, you've got to give him that one. It's in his base. There's no arguing about that. But it's about those second and those third ones that are really important. And we do see that Regnit's coming down now for the Mista.
And the Regnit's Cathedral over on the right side of his base. So thinking about that relic first. The scouts engage against the villager. Mista is going to trap that one scout in there. Somebody call an ambulance, but not for me. And certainly not for him, because he's already dead.
He's dead, yeah. We'll need to call the, what's it called, the mortuary?
The
cemetery?
The morgue, the coroner.
Yeah.
The funeral home.
Yes.
The relatives, hopefully.
Let them know, unfortunately, your son, the scout, has gone. But speaking of scouts, we spot that on the north side of the base, that scout is still sitting there guarding that relic. So Mista is still watching out. You can see he's reached the castle age now, just making sure that that doesn't go the way of the dodo. But a villager going to be coming out, and we'll look at the wall that might potentially be coming out. I suspect we're going to see it down towards this position here. But that villager...
I don't know if he's going to have enough time for that, though. With the spearmen out there, and the Mista almost having the prelate coming out soon, especially with those scouts being weak. I guess there is an early night, and the Mista has his spears on the other side, trying to secure that relic first.
And it looks like the two spears are going to go down, both of them very low health. And now the prelate going to have to retreat because the spears just weren't simply enough.
There is 2 spearmen, though.
Couple more
and
spears
another
back
one coming in.
Yeah.
He's getting the relic in. I guess it's just, can he disrupt this wall? All he needs to do is disrupt one tile of this wall. That's it.
Yeah, but now we see DeMusliM coming in and doing the beautiful walling trick. You can see the way that he's walling right now. It's going to enable him to get up these walls without being blocked. So that guarantees that the walls are going to be safely up. And now you can see that Mista turning his attention towards these pillars, but at the same time, DeMuslim's going to be able to react in time before that actually gets taken. And look at
there's a gap!
Oh, the gap! The 2 prelates going to be making their way through. Look at that tiny little gap.
No, this is why you always click through, just in case.
Jeez. That is unfortunate. That could be game-turning as well.
Oh, that's so frustrating for DeMusliM, though. That's so frustrating. You just expended so much effort on that. But Mista has to hold this.
Are those prelates stuck? Are those prelates too fat to fit through the hole?
Door stuck.
Is that a Drongo prelate? They get the heal up. A little bit of a delete comes through right now. Knight's going to be doing absolute damage as those spears unfortunately do go down. And now those prelates unfortunately going to get mauled along with the spears.
And he just didn't have enough spears to follow it up. There's 2 knights there and the scouts as well. So even though he missed that hole, he should have been able to complete that wall, and he was not. So Mista out on the field once again. The villager will be tracked by the scouts. It's just about how fast his prelates can get out there to snag those relics.
Now we've got a unit coming across from DeMusliM. What unit do we have? Is it potentially a warrior monk that is heading down to snag away this relic? It's just about to enter our screen, hopefully.
Well, he's still in H2.
A little bit up. Oh, I do apologize. He's not even in H3 yet.
So,
Here, I'm thinking ahead of myself.
That would be impressive, to be honest.
I'm ahead of myself. I'm thinking, all right, well, we've got a potential thief on our hands, but no, it doesn't seem like it was the case.
Yeah, and he tried to complete that wall right there, but wisely Mista with a scout just kind of hanging out on that placement. So the villager is gonna die eventually. He doesn't seem concerned.
He doesn't
that
seem
he's
concerned.
being attacked.
You're killing me, but just he picked it up in the end. He picked it up in the end.
God, it took you long enough.
But now it looks like the second relic going to be picked up here for the Mista. He's going to be very happy with that, but he's got to be careful here. The knight running in.
The third prelate down.
Yeah, there's been a lot of prelates lost this game, and now that Wallalor going to be coming off. Is he going to be able to get it off in time? I don't think he is.
There's no way.
Oh, it was close. I reckon that would have been half a second in it.
Yeah, well, that is a moral victory right there for DeMusliM. And here we go with villagers. Where were those villagers heading?
Yeah, it looks like they're heading out towards the boar. There's a boar that's out there. So if we take a look from DeMusliM's perspective, I'd love to know at the moment what his bounty is sitting at. You can see he's sitting on 390. This is going to put him up towards that 450 mark and really put him in the position to be hitting up towards 500. Keep in mind there are 2 boars out on the map and taking out the first and the second, which, by the way, take a look at the second spawn for that boar as well, right next to DeMusliM's base, just on the edge right here. Look at this. Double boar, very safe.
Well, it looks close, and then you realize that he has to go all the way around the cliff. You know, he can look at it from the cliff, though.
And there's a wood line in there as well, so he's really got to get, he's got to get his stroll on.
Yeah. Now guarding another relic. He's got 2 relics in the cathedral now. And there's the Palace of Swabia already, even with all of this going on. And he's going to start printing, and suddenly the advantage from the double TC from DeMusliM will evaporate once he's in the next stage.
Yeah, this is pretty impressive coming out from the Mista. The fact he's able to get up to the 4th age despite, only having that 1 relic in his possession. Obviously bringing back the second one now. And you can see that there are still plenty of relics out on the map to grab. The issue is that we do see that first one going to get picked up right now. So being taken by a warrior monk in the center of the map. 2 relics remain, and both very safe for DeMusliM. So I think the Mista is probably going to have to resign himself to the fact he's only getting 2 relics this game.
I think there's a reason that the Civ is picked here.
What's that?
I think there's a reason it's meta.
Why?
Because they have this palace. They have the relic income.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you fail just one of those walls, the whole strategy starts to crumble.
Yep, and that's exactly it. The whole key to playing against the Holy Roman Empire is do not let them get relics. And if they do, even just 2 relics, it can be more than enough. Often I talk about the 3 legs of Exodia that is the Holy Roman Empire. Turns out Mista only needed 2.
Yep. All right, so 4th age is in for Mista, so we will make a count right now. It's 66 villagers for DeMusliM, which is a decent position right now, and 44. It was 44 for the Mista. And now we're going to count in another 2 minutes and see what the economies are looking like for both of these players. Now, heading into the late game, which Civ would you favor, assuming they both have similar economies in a couple minutes?
Yeah, I think that the Holy Roman Empire spike much sooner.
Yeah.
The problem is that DeMusliM's going to need to take this really, really late. So I'm talking, 40, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It's going to take a while to run down the Mista. He's going to have to look for map control, try and secure up those gold mines in the center of the map. He's got plenty of access on this map, but he really needs to get towards that composition that we saw Beastyqt used to use with such success yesterday. So I'm talking, the classic 12 mangonel composition.
Okay, so we've got Knights roaming around. The walls are still blocking on the front and the right side, and barracks now being placed from the Mista. No surprise there.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be... Ooh, take a look at this. So he's getting a unique upgrade here that's available to the Holy Roman Empire. This is a riveted chainmail, so it increases the melee armor of spearmen by 3, and it actually turns these things into complete beasts. Unstoppable out on the field because they're so cheap, yet they do so much damage and they're so tanky. So I would expect that we potentially see +1s, +2s, and +3s coming out for him on that melee armor, and he's just going to look to put on some hurt.
Yeah, and it looks like right now, DeMusliM, pure cavalry composition.
Yeah, not going to be very effective up against those spears. So we'll be looking out to see whether he gets those elite upgrades. I still think he might be running those... it looks like the veterancy has just come through for him. But there's a lot of units that are going to be coming the way for Mista, and this is what DeMusliM needs to be really careful of. It's this early spike, because he failed to prevent the relics from being taken in. It really means that now he just has to play for the late game. That's the only potential way he can win.
Well, did he really fail, though? I mean, he denied 3 of them.
You got to deny the 4th one as well.
Yeah, you kind of do, because he's getting, 300 gold per minute
per relic
on the relics, and Mista is getting 600, so...
Yes. Yeah, he's getting a lot of gold, and so as we saw, it enables him to get up to the castle age. He's then able to convert that gold into a lot of units, all of his upgrades. He doesn't have to worry about mining gold if he wants to. And now it looks like we're going to have the Imperial Age coming through here for DeMusliM. You can see he's going up with a high armory and already dropping down double siege workshop. So I would expect that we're probably going to be seeing mangonels, maybe a few springalds, but definitely mangonels.
He's got 4 archer ranges too.
That's a great point. So
and he's taking the Sacred Site victory, so... Haha.
That's true. It's a great way to sort of supplement your gold income there. Obviously, you don't have the same Holy Roman Empire gold income coming through, but now we can see those spears looking to do a fair bit of damage out on this eastern flank.
Yep.
But unfortunately do get cleaned up, but some effective trades there still for him. Streltsy going to be the way that DeMusliM goes, and I got to say, I like this.
It took 3 in-game minutes for them to equal villagers.
And Mista, just like a McLaren
and now
against
it's
a Camry. Yeah, it's
right on by.
It is very, very simple right now. But yeah, he's going to rocket up to the moon, and then he's going to look to really try and outproduce his enemy. That's what it's going to be all about. He'll be sitting up at 130 villager population. The DeMusliM probably on 96, and yeah, he's going to be in absolute prime position here.
Okay, so battered down the wall on the right. He has access to the middle of the map. He's just kind of building his forces before he goes out. The cavalry comes in and picks off a few villagers from the Mista. So DeMusliM doing a good job. He's defending with aggression right now, and he's building up his main force behind this. So the cavalry was his opening, but behind this, like you said, Streltsy coming out and Siege as well.
3rd town center now being put down for DeMusliM. I don't know how I feel about this. I guess that makes sense considering that he's obviously going to need to try and keep up with Mista, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. And now we start to see that the front gate is going to be taken down. Mista wants to get out. He wants to break out of his walls, and we do have that elite upgrade coming through. So now those beautiful golden socks coming in on those spears. They're going to be looking to try and take out these Rus Lancers or Knights as they move through the base. But I really think it's important for Mista to wall up that eastern side of his base. It's a gaping hole there, and he needs to make sure it closes.
Yeah, he already walled up the west side, so there's no opportunity for the raids to come in from behind. But definitely once you open the walls from red, you need to close them back down once again. And he's going to send a unit over there, cancel that Sacred Site timer, get the gold income out of his enemy's hands, and he does it all 3 at the same time.
Impressive stuff coming out from him. Really great job of neutralizing these sacred sites. Now, I think the question is, what kind of composition does Mista look for? I'm suspecting that we're probably going to see horsemen, spears, and bombards. This composition is incredibly difficult to deal with. This is something that Fitzy here, one of the Twitch streamers, is quite a prominent player, a very talented Holy Roman Empire expert, sort of pioneered. So essentially what you're going to be seeing is a huge amount of trash units out on the field, but just a handful of bombards there. So I expect that's what we'll see, but we'll have to wait and see how Mista plays it and whether he looks to do a similar composition.
And then for the Rus.
The Rus, on the other hand, it's the Streltsy, it's the Springalds, it's the Mangonels, and most importantly, the Keeps. Keeps are going to be really important for them. They try and want to keep everything inside their proxy keeps, and that prevents any sort of push coming in, any sort of flank from coming in. Boiling oil going to be a very important upgrade. And that's part of where we saw trebuchets actually come in to counter that. But now we do indeed see the keeps coming down in the middle of the map.
Yeah, and I think we saw all we needed to see from the Roos late game yesterday. That crazy game with Beastyqt, and he showed us exactly what they can do. And we see both players going for keeps here, but the Bombards are behind already from DeMusliM, so that keep is not long for this world for the Mista.
And a third Bombard now going to be coming out. So DeMusliM not taking the Beastyqt route of just going 1,000,001 mangonels.
Culverin already, okay.
Yeah, very, very early Culverin coming out here from Mista, and this is quite a smart move, actually. Second one in queue already. Looks like he is trying to get an emplacement on that keep.
Is the timing going to be correct, though? He's trying to repair the keep until the Culverin gets there. He's going to push away the Bombards. He's still got villagers working on it, and he's got infantry at the top, and it looks like he might be able to take out that Bombard. The villagers are repairing it. One Bombard goes down, the other Bombard being attacked by the Culverin. This could be excellent timing here for the Mista, as all three Bombards go down and the keep remains alive.
What a beautiful trade right there for Mista. That's 3,000 resources being exchanged right there. That is a huge victory for him. That's absolutely massive, because it was that point right there that DeMusliM could have been able to push out and really stop this ability to exist in the middle from the Mista. But Mista just really solidifies his position, and now we see the Horsemen coming out.
I feel like DeMusliM didn't notice that infantry army coming from the other side. If he did, he might have just committed towards the keep.
Yep.
At least take the keep down, right? Yeah.
Because you're going to lose those units anyway, so you might as well. And we see the slaughter of an innocent boar.
Innocent.
Innocent. He did nothing wrong.
Did nothing wrong.
Hashtag the boar did nothing wrong. But now more and more Bombards coming out here for DeMusliM. He's looking pretty strong. We still don't see any of those upgrades coming through from the High Armory. Keep in mind, the High Armory, in addition to providing those unique upgrades for the Rus, also reduces the cost of Siege that is made from any Siege workshop that is in the proximity of it.
Now lots of cavalry. Lots and lots of units being built up from the Mista. He's not really showing this.
Yeah. He's keeping it hidden, keeping it secret.
Yeah.
And this is such a difficult composition to deal with. You can see that Mista is investing in his upgrades as well. He's going for his melee attack. He's going for his melee defense.
Even the eco upgrades. Look at the comparison here between these two guys.
Yeah, there's barely a wheelbarrow in it. Mista's just looking incredibly strong right now. I'm worried for DeMusliM because this is the timing window. You can see that the villager count's looking relatively even. DeMusliM a little bit ahead, but the military count is where it matters.
What were you saying about the villager count? Oh, he bypasses the villager. He goes right past the Streltsy as well, but he leaves some horsemen behind to deal with those villagers and maybe have a pincer movement here as he picks off a few from DeMusliM. DeMusliM was at, what, 125 there. That's going to go down as these units continue to converge. The Streltsy really struggling being surrounded, but there's another group of reinforcements behind that.
Yeah, those Streltsy are incredibly strong, but keep in mind they're also expensive units. So even though it looks like they shredded through those horsemen, that the trades were quite effective for the horsemen. Now it looks like he's going to be coming through between that stone mine, between that stoning or that mining camp, looking to turn his attention towards the Streltsy, and also going to be collapsing from the top side.
Another force coming from the other side. His positioning, his timing is immaculate here.
It is absolutely perfect. Mista looking incredibly strong, and take a look at the populations now, really starting to build up for the Mista. He's looking quite strong in this position. Now the Culverin going to be coming out. With these Culverin, it's going to prevent any real siege build-up. It's difficult because you need to invest a lot of resources in your Springords before you can go into the Mangonels. But now we see horsemen out on the field.
Mista's content losing this army as long as he gets the siege.
And that's
He's perfectly fine. He already got a Mangonel, and he might actually get this Bombard here. They're so slow.
He takes it out. That's a beautiful trade there from Mista. Now towards the front, you can see those spears getting in on the action, trying their best to take out the Streltsy. Spears do incredibly well against the Streltsy because Streltsy have got a lot of attack, and the spears, well, there's a lot of spears. They're very cheap units.
Yeah, the Mista at 45 military, DeMusliM at 21, so he's really struggling to mass here, and he doesn't have that much food in the bank, doesn't have that much wood in the bank, doesn't have that much in the queue either.
Yeah, surprisingly not a lot of units there in the queue, but you can see that his economy, he's definitely transitioning into farms. If we can take a look back towards the base of the Mista right now, he's going to see so many farms. Dave, I'm telling you, you're going to see hundreds, if not thousands of farms. Maybe not that many, but...
Oh, there's the farm. Okay, I was going to say, I see 7. Also, what I see is so many upgrades from the Mista. Look at this. We can see from our beautiful overlay, we've got the double melee attack. We're getting the second melee armor. We've got 3 pierce. We've got 2 food eco upgrades, 2 wood eco upgrades, wheelbarrow. And then from DeMusliM side, we have a very lonely food upgrade and pierce armor upgrade.
Don't forget the wheelbarrow.
Ah,
DeMusliM loves his wheelbarrow.
Yes, yes, yes.
But now we've got ourselves a bit of an attack up towards the north, and you can really see that Mista is starting to take over this game. He's sieging the central position. He's sieging up towards the north. These villagers have got to be really careful, because once this wall goes down, that's going to be it for those. Now we actually see, looks like a keep has been expanded out towards the south of DeMuslim's base, but DeMusliM, he's not going to have any of that. You can see now that horsemen going to be moving out towards the bombard. Not a lot of... there's too much smoke in there to tell exactly what's going on.
But he's going to be able to take out one bombard and might actually find another one. I would have loved to see villagers standing there ready to repair on that.
Yeah,
it was not to be. I think he got one bombard. I'm not sure if he got the second one. He's almost through that wall. He did not get the second one. The dead bodies are there to prove it.
And now we start to see the siege mass beginning to build up towards the north. You can see that the villagers are going to be called out to this position to try and heal up this wall. They're trying their best to get through it. A single mangonel just firing down upon the horsemen, as well as that sprinkled emplacement in the wooden fortress. And it looks like that wall does go down, but the horsemen are going to run away.
Yep.
Interesting. Bombards looking to try and take out this this central keep, and the villagers here just going to continue draining wood. It's interesting, Dave. It takes wood to heal a stone building.
Yeah.
Or to repair a stone building.
Yeah, you ever built a stone building?
With wood, yeah.
No, you need the scaffolding, the stuff.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Thank you. You've enlightened me.
Try it.
I will. When I return to
You
Australia...
start stacking stones and let me know how it goes, all right?
But speaking of stacking stones, it looks like DeMusliM also going to be stacking up another keep in the middle here. The siege army from him is looking very strong, but at the same time, look at the horsemen coming out from the Mista at this point. I'm curious to see what kind of upgrades we've got on this bad boy, but you know what? Our UI tells us already. You can see he's got that +3 PS, the +2 melee.
Yep.
I just love this UI.
Yeah, it's so helpful to us as casters, and I'm sure it's helpful to viewers who are coming back into a game and weren't there for all of the upgrades. You know, you can look away for a second. You don't have to be paying 100% attention, although I expect every single one of you to be paying 100% attention, except when we make mistakes, by the way.
Yes,
but
I'm not eating any shoes today.
It adds so much to the broadcast, and we're so thankful to have it here. And the Mista is coming in now with such a big army. 72 military here, 54 military population for DeMusliM, and that keep goes down.
Take a look at the villager count right now for DeMusliM, Dave. What do you think about... Oh, excuse me, what do you think about this? 144 villagers.
I think he's a boomer.
I think so too. He's definitely a bit of a boomer, but look at these walls coming up, trying to delay the push as much as possible. Obviously knows he's got maximum population, but still trying to drop down as many siege workshops as possible.
Yep.
Wants to try and just get those reinforcements out quickly.
Yeah, now Mista is kind of sitting here like, where do I go? Where do I pressure? He's going to have to make a decision pretty soon.
Yeah, this is my fear that's happening right now. You can see that DeMusliM, it just happened. He got an upgrade. So the upgrade, oh, take a look at the mangonels on the hill getting beautiful shots down on those bombards.
And they tickled it.
Yeah, barely. Look at that. It looks so great firing from up on that hill, though. I don't actually think the bombards or culvert can shoot back up there either.
And Mista sets up within range. he doesn't care. That bombard will go down eventually. Are these exposed bombards over here? I can't see.
They do look like they might be exposed.
Oh no! Is that 4 of them?
That's 1 bombard. That's 2 bombards. That's 3 bombards. That's a great deal.
Wow! You feel like the Streltsy. Next time, maybe the Streltsy need to go into the wilderness first to scout the path before the expensive siege units, because 3 bombards down is a big deal, especially when we look at DeMusliM's resources, and he has 140 gold in the bank. Granted, he does have 2 bombards queued, but this is a rough position for him. Okay, now it looks like he's balanced something because he's back up to 1,300 gold immediately.
Hashtag just Rus things, but
yeah.
Now I'm starting to worry for Mista because he still hasn't finished off the game, and this siege mass is building. keep in mind, as the Rus, they get that cheaper siege because of the high armory, but not only that, they also get these upgrades. And one of the upgrades that we saw through was that extra springled range. So if we go take a look up towards the Mista's base, or up towards DeMusliM's base, apologies, his springleds are actually going to have, or should have, 13.5 range. And they outrange absolutely everything against the trebuchets, except for the trebuchets. There you can see 13.5 tiles of range. They outrange the culverin, they outrange the springleds, they outrange absolutely everything, and that gives him siege superiority.
Yep.
And it means that he can afford to get 15 mangonels if he wants to.
Well, they're fine as long as he stays up on his little hill. The problem for this is when he comes back down, and the Mista has the army advantage and can potentially collapse on those springleds when they're exposed, right? And the Mista, if he wants to, he can make DeMusliM come back down. He's in through the wall over here, but he has the option to go for the sacred sites, and he's just now capturing the third one.
Yeah, this could be it. Maybe Mista looking to actually force a sacred site victory here knows that DeMusliM's win condition is to take the game to 40 minutes, which is what we see him exactly doing right now. We enter into the 30th minute and take a look at these Streltsy just melting through all of these horsemen.
And I love the fact that he attacks on both sides at once.
Yeah, it's super smart.
So all the Streltsy go to the other side. DeMusliM, there's a chance that he doesn't notice the raid coming in from the left, and now the Mista is into the base with those cavalry, but DeMusliM did notice it, and DeMusliM will have siege there to repel this raid, and as soon as he's in, he goes back out, and as soon as the walls are down, the walls go right back up again.
It's curious to me that Mista didn't go for that siege. He knew that that siege was there.
Look at this.
That's a lot of stone walls.
He's not messing around with these sacred sites here.
Yeah.
He says, all right, your springleds have extra range. How did they do against stone walls exactly?
It doesn't seem that well, and look at this, starting to outpost up the middle because he's sitting on maximum population, or very close to it, at least has the ability to go maximum population. So he says, I'll start adding in outposts. Makes total sense.
You can just see like the game sense, the intelligence in his play.
Yeah, yeah.
Every single game, he's got a plan and he's trying to stick to it. And DeMusliM, to be fair, DeMusliM had a plan this game as well. He tried to block the relics, and then he fell back onto his second plan, which was play for the Rus late game.
Yep.
And that's where we are right now.
That's where we are right now, but you can start to see the production that Mista's got. He's got 18 horsemen being produced at this point in time. It's a huge amount of horsemen that he's got in the queue, and just immediately, just look at that. Just so many units coming out now. So he's got control of those 3 sacred sites. Fortunately, because of the UI, you can actually see how long we've got before that sacred site victory takes place. 8 minutes and 40 seconds to go, Dave.
Yep. The only one he's not walling, though, is the one in the middle. Maybe he wants to force the fight in the middle.
I think that would be the case, yeah. So delay out on the edges and then fight in the middle. That's why we've got all those outposts that are happening. But all these mangonels getting out of position. 2 of them actually going down there.
That's more siege that's just kind of out by itself. Maybe he clicked it somewhere else and it pathed out there.
Little bit of a mistake, unfortunately, from DeMusliM. Resources not looking particularly well. Are we able to take a look at DeMusliM's gold right now? I'm worried for DeMusliM. I don't think he's got access to any gold. There's no gold in the base.
He's got a couple relics.
Where are his gold mines, though? He's got no gold, Dave.
No. Does he even have hunting cabins?
He's got hunting cabins trickling in, but with the exception of that, there's no gold here. This is the closest gold that he's got. So the Mista is taking complete control of the map, taken all the sacred sites, taken all the gold, and now says, all right, bring it on. You come out of your base to face me.
Yeah, and look at these towers even behind the wood lines here.
This is such a smart move.
It's so smart.
I don't see how Mista can lose this.
Yep.
Dare I say it, but if Mista loses this, I shall eat my shoe.
Listen, pal. We've been there before, all right? And promises have not been fulfilled here. So
all right.
It means nothing. It means absolutely nothing to me.
But he is looking like he's in a very, very good position. I will say that much.
And there's the siege sitting behind the wood line there, and that's not something that Mista can take out. But this is, you know, if you're in Mista's position, you're like, fine, set up your siege back there. Fine, take 30 seconds to take down every one of my outposts that wasn't a massive investment for me. I'm walling up the sacred sites. I'm building up my military. I'm banking so much res behind this.
Yep.
And eventually, when you come too far out, that's when I'm going to collapse on you.
Correct. And he's just got so much production behind this as well. I'd love to take a look from Mista's perspective and just see how much production he's actually got. Because I suspect it's probably about 30,
20?
35. Yeah.
20 in the queue?
20 in the
we
queue.
got a
at the
couple
moment.
culverins there. Looks like he's fortifying some of his towers. Cannon, is that cannon in placement there?
There we go. So we're actually looking, it looks like he's only got 19 production buildings. To be honest, I expected at least double that. Yeah, that's... now, interesting to note, up towards the north, we've actually got what appears to be a stone wall that's gone up across that little entrance. Or it is slowly going up. And I got to say, I love this nerf. Stone wall's taking a little bit longer to build.
No, it's great.
Yeah, it's really good.
They're so tough to take down. Yeah,
they really
should be a really big investment to get up. And it looks like the Mista is still fortifying some outposts here. I think he needs to stop making villagers, though. He's still creating a few. I don't know why he's at 135. I think he needs more military population, especially if he's going to all the trouble of walling in the sacred sites. I think your primary focus for population should be in the middle of the field here.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you on that one, Dave. But have a look at the numbers of horsemen that are coming out here. It's huge. And the composition, because DeMusliM knows that his strength is going to be siege.
Yeah.
So he wants to play into that. He wants to get the upgraded Springles. He wants to get the upgraded Mangonels. Mista going for cavalry here just makes so much sense. You really got to be careful, because once DeMusliM gets towards that critical mass, even a huge flank of cavalry just gets one shot.
20 stables in the middle here.
Take a look at those villagers getting absolutely destroyed. They went to put down that mining camp, and unfortunately the outpost has cancelled it. So now they're
just waiting to die there.
They're getting one shot by this outpost. I don't think he realized. You can see them all going down. He's down to 65 villagers.
65 vills? What happened? Did he delete everything for one final push here?
I'm not sure exactly what's happened, but those villagers are going to continue going down on this gold mine. He's looked away for a second and then all died. These outposts doing so much work here, Dave.
Yeah, it feels like there was a raid that we missed or something, or maybe if there was just that many villagers over here on the gold. He's down to 55 now.
But keep in mind, every villager that he deletes
is more population space. We see the swing all the time, right?
Exactly. So that is a potential possibility that we could see. But now those bombards coming out, it looks like he's put down his attention towards this southern sacred site. That's where the battle looks to be taking place. We can see that the keeps have gone down. The bombards are spreading and looking to try and take force. But now Culverin's coming out here, Dave, looking to try and
as well.
spike them.
I think everything Mista does here should be looking to buy time. He's got 4 minutes left on this. The bombards are now working on the walls. I don't know if... I think DeMusliM may have had vision on that one. I don't know if he's had vision on the walls on the other sacred sites.
Yeah, I'm not too sure, but you can see that he's struggling a little bit here. The horsemen go in, just get absolutely destroyed. That boiling oil, as well as the Strelts, you're doing so much work. This is part of what I talked about earlier. Ideally, you want to stay underneath your keeps as the real civilization. That boiling oil just helps out so much.
You need more queued up, Mista. You're at 120 pop. He finally queues up more horsemen. He only had 5 horsemen queued. He's added production buildings here, but he needs to get more units in the queue. And look, he deleted so many villagers.
Oh, this isn't good. He's got absolutely no wood either, so it means he's only going to be able to make units that don't cost wood. Because
and look where he's going for wood. He sent all the villagers forward to that wood line. So maybe his way of deleting villagers, getting rid of pop, was just taking the wood and letting DeMusliM kill it. Yeah.
I don't think this is looking good right now for Mista. Despite the villagers being killed for DeMusliM, Mista's lost a huge amount as well. And if this sacred site goes down, then Mista doesn't really have a win condition here because DeMusliM has made it to the late game.
Yeah, and
this is what he wanted to do.
And there's the sacred site being contested here. What was up with that production for Mista, or lack thereof?
I'm not too sure what happened there for Mista. Unfortunately, it looks like he flew a little bit too close to the sun. We saw he was sitting at 200 of 200. He had 135 villages at one point, and he was putting outposts up on all the sacred sites, or in the middle in particular. But now it's all gone.
Yeah, and there's his main force of military over on that side of the map being no good to anybody. But DeMusliM got his units taken away.
Oh, it's the classic.
They got kited away from the keep, so the sacred site timer continues to tick here.
The oldest trick in the book, yes. The AI is always very fun about that because, unfortunately, and this is probably some good feedback here for the devs, the hold position isn't actually a behavior of these units, it's a command. So you have to tell them to hold position where you want them to hold position. So if you send them to the sacred site, they'll just walk off unless you tell them to hold position while they're on that sacred site.
I'm so confused what happened in this game.
The village
just, like, he went down to 120 population.
Yeah. Look at the villager count now as well.
Not really losing any army whatsoever. And he's got 32 villagers now. What is happening?
This is a wild series.
Is he gonna, like, is he gonna landmark rush now?
Don't say that. Don't say that, Dave. It's too soon, Dave. It's too
There's
soon.
no reason for that army to be over there. There's absolutely
my-
no reason for that army to be over there.
Dave, you're too good
Do
at
I
this.
have like a spidey sense?
Dave, I gotta ask you, what civilization do you play in 4v4s?
Oh, no. Don't lump me in with those people. Don't lump me in with those people.
I got a feeling you're a Fire Lancer kind of guy, and having a look at this army, you just have the knack, the ability to identify this. He is going for it again. So just as this immobile army moves out...
But DeMusliM should be like, hang on a second. What's happening?
No, he's not. He's not. He's probably thinking that his enemy's just sitting back, chilling out, having a good time. You know, he's got his fan, he's got his water. But in reality...
That's so many units.
That's what he was doing this whole time. We're sitting here scratching our heads like, okay, well, he's got no villagers.
No, but why do this?
This is how you win, Dave. This is how you win.
I mean, if
so
it's
let's
not
take
broke,
a look.
don't fix it.
Let's look at the landmarks. So we've got the Abbey of the King, or Abbey of the Trinity. We've got the main town center. We've got the Golden Gate that are all packed in tightly, and now we've got the High Armory. So all 4 landmarks are in the base.
Oh my god, that's like Rohan showing up to save Gondor, except they're killing all their buildings.
Has that wall in the north been walled in? Let's take a little bit. Yep. Okay. He's managed to put this wall down. When it comes to the horsemen, are those elite horsemen as well? They are elite horsemen.
Did he click through? Is he going to go around the front of his base? I think he clicked through, and he's going to go around the front of his base.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Now he deletes the wall.
All right.
DeMusliM has to be sensing that something is happening here. He hasn't seen anything, and when
the distraction is coming in.
Yeah, but when nothing,
the distraction is coming in.
Yeah, sure, fine, whatever. But there's a bazillion horsemen over here, and you got to get your siege back. You got to get your units back. There's no way you can wall behind this when you don't see anything from your enemy for 10 minutes. You have to think about your win conditions and your enemy's win conditions, and it's just not happening.
And immediately, DeMusliM is reacting. We can see that now moving his siege back towards his base. He's got 4 landmarks that he needs to defend. Keep in mind, as long as he gets one of them to stay alive, he should be okay.
There's so many horses here, dude. There's 5,000 HP on the High Armory, the Golden Gate. I don't know how much. There's time for math nerds to come along now as we judge the HP. The landmarks are going to go down for the 2nd straight game.
This is not happening. DeMusliM is going to be hanging his head in shame. He's going to be walking out with his tail between his legs because this High Armory is going down. You can just see there's so many horsemen in here.
Watch the Mista pop off after this.
Game. I mean, look at that beautiful
look
face.
Look at this. He can just take his hands off his mouse and keyboard and watch.
Well played. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to N4C. This is day number 3, set number 3. Mista winning 3-0 up against DeMusliM. And look at that face. He is a happy man.
That's 2 in a row. That's 2 in a row. I love to see it. That's so exciting, and it's such a unique way to win. But also, questions have to be asked.